Can you see the screen, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the last class, we have started with partial derivatives. So we know that suppose you have a function f, which is a function of two variables, then we can talk about the rate of change of this function with respect to x as well as with respect to y. So rate of change of f with respect to x, we denote it with partial f by partial x, or we
It
call it as curly f by curly x. So this is at any point, say a comma b, because we know that derivative is defined at a point, is equal to limit h going to 0 f of a plus h comma b minus f of a comma b upon h. So in a way, when you are differentiating with respect to x, you will treat y as a constant. So when you differentiate, when you partially differentiate with respect to x, you treat y as a constant, right? So here you can see that thing from here, that you are just increasing in the x coordinates. So it means that y is treated as a constant. Similarly, curly f by curly y at the point a comma b, it is defined as limit. You can keep it h also, but just as a convention, we write it as k. Limit k going to 0, f of a comma b plus k minus f of a comma b upon k. So this we have already done in the last class, right? So it means that when you partially differentiate with respect to y, you will treat x as a constant. Okay. When you partially differentiate with respect to y, you will treat x as a constant. So we have seen both type of problems. This is your recap for the last lecture, right? We have seen both types of problem where we have computed the partial derivatives using the limit also, and like usually also given a function, say x square plus 5xy plus sine xy, you can simply compute the partial derivatives with respect to x and y. When you differentiate with respect to x, you will treat y as a constant. For example, here curly f by curly y will be treat x as a constant. So that will be your 5x plus cos xy into chain rule, derivative with respect to y will be x. And if you want to find out curly f by curly x, so you will treat y as a constant. So that will be 2x plus, here you'll get 5, you're differentiating with respect to x, so 5y plus cos xy into y, right? So this is how you deal with the problems. And one more thing which we had seen is, for function of one variable, we know that a function is differentiable at a point. That implies that it has to be continuous at that point. But here we have seen that even if a function f of xy is not continuous at a comma b, it can have both the partial derivatives existing at that point a comma b. Can anybody tell me why this happens? So we are saying that even if the function is not continuous, the partial derivatives may exist at that point. So example was, we have already done an example. So I'll just rewrite that example. We had seen f of xy is equal to 0, 1. When xy is not equal to 0, xy is equal to 0. So this is a function which is not continuous at 0, 0. This is not continuous at 0, 0. But both curly f by curly x at 0, 0 and curly f by curly y at 0, 0 exist, and they were equal to 0. This was also 0, this was also 0. So can you think of why this happens? Why continuity is not required for existence of partial derivatives? Not a proof, just an intuitive thinking. Can you think? Anybody? Why continuity is not required for the existence of partial derivatives? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You see, beta,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have saying, see, continuity means from everywhere the limit should be same. But for partial derivatives, you are just considering two directions. One is x-axis, one is along y-axis. So it means that you are just coming along this direction for x-axis and for this direction for y-axis. So it may happen that, you see, these limits will exist, although these limits are not same. But when you are dealing with function of one variable, you have only two possibilities. From here, you're just coming from x direction, right? From two sides, right side or left side. So their continuity is required for existence of derivative. But here, because when you are talking about partial derivatives, you are just concentrating on x-axis if you are talking about partial derivative with respect to x. So we are not concentrating for all the directions. That is why derivatives may exist even if the function is not continuous. And here is the example. Okay, so you can like if you have any doubts, you can revisit our last lecture. Okay, now we will continue for today's lecture. So till now we had seen, yes beta,
मैम इन केस ऑफ अ नॉन कंटिन्यूअस फंक्शन
yes,
अगर हम लोग डेल एफ कैलकुलेट करते हैं दैट इज curly f by curly x into dx plus curly f by curly y into dy, then
yes,
del f क्या आएगा मैम उस केस में? Because
it
continuous नहीं है
will
तो
be
del f
same.
तो
Sorry,
because continuous नहीं है तो del f तो compute नहीं होना चाहिए ना technically.
no, why? See, that is what I'm saying, right? So you see, these directions are important, but you see, when you are at a point, our function is function of only two variables: this x-axis, this x variable, and this y variable, right?
Okay मैम.
Right. So here, what we are computing is that what is the change in f when there is a dx change in x and dy change in y. So continuity means we are not considering, obviously, because the independent variables are only x and y. So we are just considering this x variable and this y variable. So change in x variable will be somewhere here, and change in y variable will be somewhere here. This is your del x, this is your del y, and your f is here, right? Your
Yes
f
मैम.
is here. So that will be what will be the change when there is this del x change in x-axis and del y change in y-axis, right? And what you are talking about, you will learn those things later on. We will be computing directional derivatives. There we will consider these regions also. Okay, beta? So just wait for few lectures. You will get your answers. Okay?
Understood.
Yeah. So we will be talking about, because now we have more directions. So this is just one direction. This is another direction. We will be talking about directional derivatives later on. Okay? Yeah. So let us move on, beta. So till now, this was just the last lecture. So till now we have considered curly f by curly x and curly f by curly y. Now let us move on to derivatives of higher orders. Now let us move on to derivatives of higher orders. It means that you are differentiating two times or three times. So let us talk about second order first. So what is the possibility? Possibility is differentiate. You have a function x fxy. So do you differentiate two times with respect to x. So it means that you are saying curly 2f by curly x square. So the definition is curly by curly x of curly f by curly x. Right? Is that okay? So you can write it as curly f by curly x a plus h comma b minus curly f by curly x a comma b upon h limit h going to 0 if you are computing it at a point a comma b. Is that thing clear to everybody? Just you are computing the partial derivative of curly f by curly x with respect to x. So what you will do in this function curly f by curly x, you will increase a by h, b as such, then curly f by curly x at a comma b, you will subtract and then divided by h, limit h going to 0. So this notation we also use like this: f x x. F x x means you are differentiating f with respect to x first, and then x second times again with respect to x. So this is first like way that you can differentiate 2 times with respect to x. So second is differentiate 2 times with respect to y. So you can have curly 2f by curly y square. It means curly by curly y, we are talking about at a point a comma b, of curly f by curly y at a comma b. So that will be limit k going to 0, f of a, sorry, not f, curly f by curly y a comma b plus h minus curly f by curly y a comma b upon, sorry, this is k. Is that okay? The notation is also f y y. Okay, so the third possibility, can you tell me? Differentiate first with respect to x and then with respect to y. So we are saying first you differentiate with respect to x, then you differentiate with respect to y. So we denote it with curly 2f, curly y, curly x. Notation should be clear to everybody. So if it is curly y, curly x, it means that first you are differentiating with respect to x and then you are differentiating with respect to y. We write this as f x y. So you should understand, if you are writing in this way, this is the first variable which with respect to which you are differentiating, and this is your second variable. And if you're writing like this, then because of this notation, this x is the first variable with respect to which you will differentiate, and y is the second variable with respect to which you will differentiate. So this is limit k going to 0, because you are differentiating with respect to y, curly f by curly x of a b plus k minus curly f by curly x a comma b divided by k. Is that thing clear? Now what is the fourth possibility? Differentiate first with respect to y and then with respect to x. Differentiate first with respect to y and then with respect to x. So you have curly by curly x of curly f by curly y. So this will be written as curly 2f curly x curly y. So it means that you are differentiating first with respect to y and then with respect to x. So we write it as fyx. First you are differentiating with respect to y and then you are differentiating with respect to x. Okay. So this by definition is limit h going to 0 curly f by curly y a plus h comma b minus curly f by curly y a comma b upon h. Is that okay? Is that thing clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us see. Let us just take an example. You have fxy is equal to x cos y plus y e raised to power x. Compute fxx, fyy, fxy, fyx. Okay, so let us do this. First of all, you will compute fx. So what is your fx? Fx will be partial derivative with respect to x of x cos y plus y e raised to power x. So when you are differentiating with respect to x, you will treat y as a constant. So this will be y as a constant. So cos y is a constant. So this will be cos y into derivative of x is 1 plus y into derivative of e raised to power x is e raised to power x. So this is your fx. Now fxx will be the partial derivative of curly f by curly x. So again, you will differentiate it with respect to x. So that will be your, the derivative of cos y with respect to x is 0 plus y e raised to power x. So this is your fxx, right? Now your fyy. So fy will be from here. this will be x is a constant, so minus x sine y plus derivative of y is 1 e raised power x. And then your fyy means you will differentiate it with respect to y again, treating x as a constant. So this is minus x cos y, and its derivative will, with respect to y is 0. So this is your fyy. This is your fxx. So now if you want to
Ma'am,
compute, yes, beta.
can you scroll up once?
Yeah. Where?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, ma'am, here when we differentiate first with x and then with y,
Yes.
aren't these the third and fourth? Won't these be the same?
No. Yeah. They are not the same. I will come to that. Okay, beta. Just in 5 minutes we'll be discussing those things. Right? Like for
Okay.
most of the cases they are same. Your intuition is correct. Most of the cases they are same, but I will give you examples where they are not same, and then I will tell you the conditions under which they are same. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So here in discussion they will be same. You will see. Okay, is this in clear? Fxx is this much and fyy is this. Now
Yes,
let
ma'am.
us compute fxy means first with respect to x, then with respect to y. So we are talking about curly by curly y of curly f by curly x. So that is curly by curly y of fx you just computed here. So that is cos y plus y e raised power x. So that is equal to cos y derivative is minus sin y plus its e raised power x. And if you compute curly fyx, so that will be first with respect to y, then with respect to x. So that means curly by curly x of curly f by curly y. So that is equal to curly by curly x of curly f by curly y is here. That is minus x sine y plus e raised power x. So if you differentiate with respect to x, so you'll get minus sine y plus e raised power x. And you can note here, as somebody was asking before this, they are equal, but they are not always equal. Okay? Note, they are equal. Is that thing clear, beta, to everybody, that how you are going to compute the mixed derivatives?
Yes,
These
ma'am.
yeah. Okay, let us do one more problem and then we will go to this topic which I am saying that when
Can
they
you
are.
please explain this again?
See, beta, you are given a function of two variables. We have to compute fxx, fyy, fxy, and fyx. Fxx is the definition clear? That you have to differentiate twice with respect to x. Is this thing clear, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, you will compute fx. When you compute fx, you have to treat y as a constant. So when you differentiate it with respect to x, what you will get? That will be cos y plus y e raised power x. So when you have to compute
Oh,
fxx,
ma'am, I just have the doubt in fxy, ma'am. Can you please explain that only?
fxy, yes, that means first you have to differentiate with respect to x and then with respect to y. So this is that thing, curly by curly y of curly f by curly x. So curly f by curly x is here. Okay, you differentiate it with respect to y. So this is what you get. And if you go for curly fyx means first you differentiate with respect to y and then you differentiate with respect to x. So that is curly by curly x of this quantity here. So that is this. So both are equal.
Okay, ma'am, I got it. Thank you so much.
Now let us go for this problem. W is equal to xy plus e raised power y upon y square plus 1. So can you compute curly w curly to w by curly x2, curly to w by curly y2, right? And then you have to compute curly to w curly y curly x. Okay, so let us do this. What is this curly w by curly x? Tell me, what is curly w by curly x? Tell me. Simple, right?
Why?
Why?
Y, right? And what will be curly to w by curly y curly x? That is actually curly by curly y of curly w by curly x. That is equal to curly by curly y of y. That is 1, right? Now, if you compute this, this is little difficult, just the calculations, but you can obviously do that, right? You can just compute curly w by curly y. Compute it. Can you tell me? First, you will get x, and then you compute this with respect to y. So that will be, let us do first with respect to y, e raised power y, that is e raised power y square plus 1 as such. Then you can do 1 upon y square plus 1, that will be minus e raised power y 1 plus y square whole square into 2y. Is that okay? Is that thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can just do it with respect to x. Curly 2, we have to compute curly 2 w by curly x curly y, right? So that will be curly by curly x of this quantity, right? X e raised power y upon y square plus 1 minus e raised power y 2y upon 1 plus y square whole square, that is 1. Now here also they are equal. Can you see? Fine. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let us see. Do we have time, or we should go for the doubt classes? Doubt class. Doubts? Do you have doubts, students? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
You have doubts. Okay. Okay, just let me give you the example where they are not equal. Okay, I will give you the example in the next class then. Okay, in the next class, we will discuss when fxy is not equal to fyx, and then under what conditions fxy is equal to fyx. This is what we will be discussing in the next class. Okay.
मैम
Now,
वो तो जब जैसे कोई डेरिवेटिव करके कोई कांस्टेंट निकल जाए तो नॉट इक्वल हो जाएगा क्योंकि कांस्टेंट का जैसे 0 हो गया।
sorry beta,
मैम
what you
जैसे हम ले 2x अपॉन x प्लस, हाँ मैम जैसे हम ले 2x अपॉन x प्लस y तो इसमें तो अलग अलग हो जाएगा ना दोनों का।
fxy and fyx. This is what you're saying?
यस मैम।
Okay, you can try.
यस यस।
Let us just try. This is your f. So what will be your fx? That will be x plus y square, x plus y into 2 minus 2x into 1. That is your 2y upon x plus y whole square. And what will be your fxy? In this case, I think you will get the same. Okay, so this will be curly by curly y of 2y upon x plus y whole square. So that will be x plus y whole 2 into x plus y square into 2 minus 2y into 2 x plus y, right? So this is what you will get. And if you go for curly f by curly y, that will be 2 minus 2x upon x plus y square, right? Into, yeah, that's it. And fyx will be curly by curly x of this quantity minus 2x upon x plus y whole square. So that will be x plus y whole power 4, x plus y square into minus 2, right? Minus into minus 2. And then you have to differentiate this. Plus हो जाएगा ये, plus 2x into x plus y whole square. Sorry, 2 into x plus y, right? So I think you will get the same. You can compute this. So this is, just compute it. X square plus y square, 2x square plus 2y square plus 4xy minus 4xy minus 4y square, right? So this and this will cancel. So this is 2x square minus 2y square upon x plus y raised to power 4. Here also I think you will get minus 2x square minus 2y square. And then you have minus 4xy plus 4xy
प्लस
plus,
4xy,
sorry, 4xy plus 4x square, right?
4x स्क्वायर एक आएगा और एक 4xy आएगा और
Plus y raised to power 4. So you'll get this 2x square minus 2y square upon x plus y. They are same in this case. Okay, we'll discuss it later on. What
ओके
happens,
ओके
under what
ओके।
conditions they'll be same. Okay, beta?
मैम एक
Okay.
बार स्क्रॉल कर दोगे ऊपर?
Yeah, sure, beta. Where? This
यस
example?
ये जो आपने इक्वल टू 1 निकाला था ना, डी डब्ल्यू स्क्वायर डब्ल्यू अपॉन डी एक्स अपॉन डी
Yeah,
वाई।
yes, beta. Any doubt?
हाँ, ये वाला स्टेप समझ नहीं आया मैम। इसमें
This one?
इक्वल टू 1, यस इक्वल टू 1 वाला स्टेप।
This one, beta, or this one?
नीचे वाला
Yeah. So
yes
you
ma'am
see,
yes
you have differentiated first with respect to y. Now you have to differentiate with respect to x. Now you see this is a function of y only. This is also a function of y. So their derivative will be 0. Their derivative is you are differentiating with respect to y, x. So you'll treat y as a constant. That is why its derivative and its derivative is 0. Clear? Yes.
yes ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now you can ask your doubts, beta. One by one.
मैम एक बार एरर एस्टिमेशन थ्योरम एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए जो आपने एंड में बताई थी सीक्वेंस सीरीज के एकदम
टेलर एंड मैक्लोरिन में मैम
Okay, beta, I'll tell you. Now you see, I told you that if you write the Maclaurin or Taylor series of a function, right? So you have f of x, you write its Taylor series. So your Taylor series is f nth derivative at a, x minus a raised to power n upon n factorial, n from 0 to infinity, right? And then we want to see when this series is convergent and this is convergent to f of x. Then we have seen that f of x may not be equal to this series, but this is equal to pnx plus rnx, where rnx was remainder after n terms, remainder after n terms, and this was equal to, can anybody tell me, x minus a raised to power, anybody, what was the remainder? N plus 1 upon n plus 1 factorial into n plus 1th derivative at c, where c was between a and x. This thing is clear to everybody, right? Now what was the error estimation? Error estimation is when, what is error? Error is when you approximate f of x with p and x, then the difference f of x minus p and x mod is called the error. Okay, obviously this is the error, and from here you can see that fx minus p and x mod is equal to rnx mod, right? So whenever you have to compute the error in all the problems, you were getting a bound on this quantity. So this is your error estimation theorem, that your error will be less than equal to, error is equal to mod of rnx. So you get a bound on this error, this rnx remainder after n terms, and that is your error. Okay, and also we had this thing that if for any x rnx goes to 0 as n goes to infinity, then fx is equal to its Taylor series at that x. Then only you can talk about error, because if f of x is equal to its Taylor series, then only you will approximate fx with p and x, and after that you will talk about errors. Is that okay? Now further we have seen that because this quantity here is x minus a raised to power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 factorial into f n plus 1 at c, right? So mostly we have to, because these are known things, so we have to talk about this because c is not exactly known. So the only information is c is between a and x. Okay, is that okay, beta? Yes, whose doubt
yes
was,
ma'am
was
yes
it
ma'am
clear?
yes ma'am
yes ma'am
Okay, so you can go for the next doubt, beta.
मैम आपने जो एक प्लेन वाला क्वेश्चन नहीं कराया था, पैराबोलिक पाथ कुछ था वो, उसमें वो वाला नहीं समझ आया था।
Okay, it was can you remind me, it was from which topic?
मैम
Derivatives, right?
प्लेन x is equal to 1 x square plus y square parabola
Yeah, okay. It was from derivatives chapter, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me just find out the statement. Last to last lecture, I guess. Okay, meanwhile you can ask anything else. I will just find out that problem exactly.
Ma'am, we did it on 18th of November.
18th November. Okay. Okay, fine. This is that lecture. Okay, this is the question. The plane x is equal to 1 intersects the paraboloid x z is equal to x square plus y square in a parabola. Find the slope of the tangent to the parabola at 1, 2, 4. So this is the problem, beta. See, we are saying that plane x is equal to 1 intersects the paraboloid z is equal to x square plus y square. You see, what is this? This is actually, if you draw it, this is your z axis, this is x, y. So z is equal to x square plus y square. This is this, right? And if you're saying x is equal to 1, this is a plane, right? X is equal to 1. Can everybody see? This is a plane. This is not a line now because you are in 3D. So x is equal to 1 is a plane. You just take x is equal to 1 and you draw a plane which is parallel to yz plane. Got it? So when this plane intersects this paraboloid, imagine you have a bowl, you are intersecting it with a plane. So you will get a parabola. So you'll get a parabola here. Is this thing clear to everybody? And then the question is, of that parabola at the point 1, 2, 4, there is some point here where x is 1, because on this parabola x is always 1. Right? X is 1. You have at the point 1, 2, 4, there is a tangent, right? This parabola is now in yz plane. Can you see? This parabola is now z is equal to y square. So that parabola is in yz plane. So tangent means dz by dy. Tangent means dz by dy. So this is your parabola. We have put x is equal to 1. So this is your parabola. Z is equal to y square plus 1. And you have to compute the slope. So it means that dz by dy. So that is 2y. And at what point? Your point is 1, 2, 4. It means that y is equal to 2. You are computing. So 2 into 2, that is your slope 4. This is what we had done. Okay. Now, if you don't want to draw the things, right? We had used the partial derivatives. It means that now you see, because x is equal to 1 is the plane with which you are intersecting the paraboloid, it means that your function will be only a function of y. So you have to differentiate partially with respect to y. So you will say curly z by curly y. So that is your 2y. And at the point 1, 2, 4, so that is 2 into 2. So that is 4. So this way you are not making use of partial derivatives. You are actually seeing what is happening. And this way, if you don't, suppose somehow you have a problem in looking at the things, you can just go for partial derivatives. That was the thing I was saying. Is that okay? Here, if it was y is equal to 1, then you will go for curly z by curly x. Is that thing clear now, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Go for the next doubt. Yes, students.
मैम
Please.
वो जो सीक्वेंस सीरीज जो वो होता था मैम, जो सब्स्टिट्यूशन वाला है तो वो बता देंगी।
Sorry, beta.
मैम वो सब्स्टिट्यूशन वाला जैसे क्वेश्चन होता है मैम, एक्स जैसे क्वेश्चन है मैम, एक्स cos of x square मैम, लाइक cos x नहीं दिया, cos of x square दिया है मैम। तो
Okay. Taylor series you have to write.
मैम टेलर सीरीज या मैक्लॉरेन सीरीज कोई भी हो, लेकिन
Yeah. Okay, beta. So we have Taylor series by substitution, in the sense that you can write cos x series, right? What is this? This is 1 minus x square upon 2 factorial plus x4 upon 4 factorial minus x6 upon 6 factorial and so on. And this is valid for all x. Valid for all x in R, right? So now if you want to write cos x square, just replace x by x square in above series.
मैम
Right?
डाउट मैम एक्चुअली डाउट यहीं पे है मैम, लाइक वैसे जैसे हम लोग जब टेलर सीरीज या मैक्लॉरेन सीरीज जो भी होती बनाते हैं उसको, तो हमेशा हम लोग लाइक उसको डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं। तो हम लोग cos x स्क्वायर को अगर cos of x स्क्वायर को अगर डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे तो
Yes.
हमको sin x square dot 2x होगा.
Yeah, beta, obviously. You see, let me just explain. So there are two ways. Question is, suppose write Maclaurin series for this. Okay, so what you can do is, one way is this, that you replace x by x square, because obviously you are saying that this is true for all x, so it means that you can put anything. So I can place, in place of x I can write x square. So if I just replace x by x square, what I'll get? 1 minus x raised to power 4 upon 2 factorial plus x raised to power 8 upon 4 factorial minus x raised to power 12 upon 6 factorial, and so on. And this is valid for all x square in R. All x square in R means all x in R, right? You take any number in R, you'll get x square in R. So this is the series for cos x square, and then you can multiply with x simply. So that will be x minus x5 upon 2 factorial plus x9 upon 4 factorial minus x13 by 6 factorial, and so on. So this is a series you got. Or what you can do is the usual way. F of x is x cos x square. So your f dash x will be cos x square minus 2x square into sin x square. Then your f triple dash x is minus 2x sin x square minus 4x sin x square minus 2x square cos x square into 2x 4x cube. So this way also you can go. You can compute
Ma'am,
f of 0 is 0. Yes,
that is f double dash x.
sorry. Yes, yes. Okay, so this way also you can go, but that will be little difficult calculation. That's
नहीं
it.
मैम, my doubt was actually हम लोग अगर नहीं x को नहीं ले, सिर्फ cos x square को अगर लें, सिर्फ
Okay.
cos x square को.
Yeah, then also you'll get the same series. F of x is suppose cos
Okay
x
ma'am.
square.
Okay
Okay,
ma'am. Okay
so
ma'am.
the only thing is you will get a difficult calculations. That's it. So you
मैम
can use,
आंसर सेम आएगा ना दोनों से?
yes,
आंसर तो
yes,
मैम.
obviously answer is
Okay ma'am.
same. You will get only a unique Maclaurin series.
Okay ma'am. Thank you ma'am.
Oh, can you see why you can do this? Because this is true for all x. So you can replace x with x square for sure. Okay.
Okay ma'am. Thank you ma'am.
Now suppose you have this series 1 minus x raised to power minus 1. So you have this 1 plus x square plus x cube, and so on. So you know this is true for mod x less than 1, right? You know this, right? Everybody knows this, that this is equal to this, and the convergence condition is mod x less than 1. Okay, because this is just a GP with common ratio x. Now if you are asked to write the Maclaurin series for this, so you can just replace x with x square, replace x with x square, right? So your condition will change, that mod of x square should be less than 1. So in this case, you will get the same thing, because mod x square less than 1 means mod x less than 1. Suppose you have something else. Suppose you have this 1 upon x by 2 plus x by 2 square plus x2 cube, and so on, right? And this is equal to, what will be this? A upon 1 minus r. So this is 2 upon 1 minus x. Now suppose you are asked to write down 2 upon 1 minus x square. So you can replace x by x square. So you'll get 1 plus x square by 2 plus x square by 2 square, and so on. But your condition, here the condition is mod x should be less than 2. So here the condition will be mod x square less than root 2. So you'll get mod x less than root 2. So conditions will change. Is that okay? So whenever you substitute, you will put the condition on the new variable. Is that okay?
मैम वो अपने जहाँ वो लिखा है 2/1 - x, उसके बाद इक्वल टू में 1/1/2 नहीं आएगा
Where?
मैम? इक्वल टू में 1/1/2
Here you are saying
मैम, ऊपर इसके
a upon 1 minus r. 2 men, I have taken it here. Okay, 2. Yeah. Yes, beta. Okay. So whenever you are doing substitution, your condition will be on the new variable. For example, if you have substituted x square in place of x, your condition will be on x square. Is that okay? That is the thing you have to take care. Okay, anything else? Any other doubt, beta? Yes? Doubts, beta? More doubts? No more doubts?
मैम है लेकिन अभी टाइम खत्म हो गया शायद।
नहीं, still we have 2-3 minutes. You can ask, beta.
मैम एक मिनट।
So everybody, we are doing exercise 12.3. Okay. So 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. You should be doing these exercises. 12.4 is not in our syllabus. Okay, from the same book. And then
Excuse
after
me,
that, we'll be doing 12.5. Yes, beta.
ma'am, I have doubt in one question. Convergence and divergence using LCT.
Okay.
Log n by n cube. मैम इसको कैसे करेंगे?
By LCT means limit comparison test. You tell me, beta. Log n by n cube. Anybody?
मैम इसको
Go for LCT, everybody. Go
मैम
for
1/n 3/2 से कर लेंगे।
Limit comparison test means you have to find out a bn such that an upon bn has something which is useful. So what you are saying, what we should take? Tell me. You have to
मैम
do it.
इसको 1/n raised to 3/2 से कर लेंगे।
N raised to power
3/2।
Okay. So if I take this, what will happen? An upon bn will be log n upon n raised to power 3 upon 1 by n raised to power 3/2. So here we know that this is convergent. By which test? By p test. Right? So this is log n upon n raised to power 3/2, limit n going to infinity. Can you tell me what is this limit? Yes, beta. What is this limit, students?
0.
Sorry, how much? 0 है ये. This is 0 by 0 form, infinity by infinity form. So you'll just differentiate 1 upon n, 3/2 root n, limit n going to infinity. So this is 0. So whenever you have in LCT 0, then the convergence of the denominator implies convergence of the numerator. Therefore, sigma log n upon n cube is convergent. Is that thing clear, beta?
मैम इसको डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन टेस्ट से भी कर सकते हैं।
Yeah, obviously you can do, but he's asking from LCT, so you can do like this. Okay, clear है beta? Is that thing clear?
Yes,
किसका
ma'am.
doubt है beta? Now what
Yes.
will happen if you take n square? If you take bn is equal to 1 by n square, you can take that also. Yes, no? Students,
Yes,
tell me
ma'am.
beta, please.
Yes, ma'am. We can take 1 by
Yeah,
n
you can
square.
take that also. An upon bn, limit n going to infinity will be limit n going to infinity log n by n. What is this limit? 0. Right? This limit is 0 and denominator is convergent because 1 by n square is convergent. That implies the denominator is also convergent. That series I'm talking about. Okay? Is that thing clear? And what will happen if you take bn is equal to 1 by n? Tell me. Yes, beta?
मैम इसका एक बार डीसीटी से कैसे कंपेयर करेंगे, किसके साथ डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन टेस्ट अगर
You
लगाते हैं?
tell me.
मैम
You
1
tell
by n square use कर सकते हैं DCT के लिए. Because ln n is smaller than n, so we can write ln n upon n cube is smaller than n upon n cube.
Okay, so everybody is checking that this is positive term series. Then only you are applying, right? So that is the first thing. Log n is positive because n is greater than 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So log n upon n cube is less than, you are saying?
N upon n.
n cube. So
Yes, ma'am.
why log n is less than n? That you should know.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. I know
Yeah,
that.
because log n upon n is, you can check that it's a decreasing function or an increasing function. That
I
means
actually
this
use a
is
different
true.
method.
Okay, yeah, this thing is true. You can check everybody, right? So you have log n upon n cube less than n upon n cube. So this is 1 by n square, and 1 by n square is convergent. That is why this is convergent. Okay, is that thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Okay.
ma'am, I wanted to ask.
Yes. Yes, beta, please.
Summation n from 1 to infinity.
Okay.
Summation n 1 to infinity.
Yes.
For n upon 5 की power n.
Yes. So you have to check the convergence
by Leibniz. Yeah,
But
by Leibniz test.
this is not an alternating series. Is it minus 1 raised to power n plus
And
1 also?
Yeah, ये पता यही problem था.
Yes, ma'am, that
Okay.
also.
Yeah. So can anybody tell me? So your un here is n upon 5 raised to power n, right? So by Leibniz test, you see what is limit n going to infinity? Un. First, this is positive, no problem. What is this limit? Tell me. Right now, this is infinity by infinity. So just take limit n going to infinity. L'Hopital rule 1 upon 5 raised to power n log 5.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is 0. N infinity, 5 raised to power infinity is infinity. So this is 0. And is it decreasing? First condition, second condition, third
Yes, ma'am.
condition.
Yes,
N upon 5 raised to power n. Is it decreasing? You
yes,
have to
ma'am.
check. Okay, so you can just do this. F of x is x upon 5 raised to power x. F dash x will be 1 upon 5 raised to power x plus x upon, right? You can do this minus 5x raised to power 2 into derivative 5 raised to power x log 5. Okay, so this is 5 raised to power x minus x 5 raised to power x log 5 upon 5x square. So is it negative or positive? Negative, right? Because this is a bigger number. So therefore, they're decreasing. Is that thing clear, beta? So
Yes,
all the
ma'am.
conditions of Leibniz test are there, therefore convergent. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta, time is
Yes,
up.
ma'am, thank you.
Okay,
I'm
so I'll
12.3
see.
last exercise है.
No, beta. We'll continue from here. 12.3 still we are doing. After that, this is not in our syllabus. We'll go for 12.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
ma'am.
you, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.